Mike Dillon, thank you for being on my show, man. I'm so excited to talk to you. It's been a while. Today's topic, I'll just say it's clean air in your home, your workspace, your personal space. This is about clean air. And man, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, my privilege. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Obviously, the chiropractic shows where they were stopped for a while, and you've been on multiple different endeavors since then. But it's good to be here with you, even though we're separated. We're face to face.
Thank you. This discussion, I'm going to admit, it's going to sound a little bit like an infomercial to my listeners. I really do not care. I do want them to know up front that we don't have a money arrangement. I'm not making money. I'm not an affiliate for you. There's no kickbacks planned or anything like that. I want my people to know about this technology that you have. And I actually met you at a chiropractic meeting probably a few years back. And I don't know if you recall, but at the time, I was actually already using this earlier version of the technology that I probably purchased 20 years earlier.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I it was time for an upgrade, and there were some new features and things like that. The old technology is great too. I actually just decided to move that unit to my office, and I still use it here. I should have a new one here as well with all the newer technology. But the fact is, I want clean air in my workspace. I want clean air in my home. So and it's been a favorite for mine. It's one of those things that it's not just that the air's filtered, but when you walk into a room that's using this, you breathe and it's a breath of fresh air. You can, smell the clean air.
Absolutely. And, we get that time and time again, not only from chiropractors. We have a lot of doctors, nurses, daycares, facilities, professional sports teams that have been using our technology. But I think one of the things that helped build our company to the level that it is now is the fact that there's no filters. When you've got a bunch of components to change, not only is it, gruesome and tiresome, but we as human beings, we're just so busy. We forget to do it. So we decided that we would create a technology that did not require filters to be changed. And that's one of the things that, I've always loved, good for the impact on the environment, not filling up a bunch of landfills with, parts and pieces that have to be replaced, every 30 days. And it's tiresome. Also energy efficient, but absolutely, the testimonies that we get it's just unbelievable.
It's funny, as you're saying that, I'm a little convicted because aren't we supposed to change our air conditioner filters like every 30 days?
Some of them are 90 days, some of them are 30 days. And to tell you the truth, if I told you how long it's been since I've replaced mine, you would probably kick me off of the podcast.
Well, your filters at home are probably cleaner than most people's anyway, because, the dust in the air falls to the ground and it gets swept up.
Correct. And the Triad, the Triad Aer, especially with the new V3, which is the one that you own, it's using that arc cell. So that active radiant catalysis is running 24 hours a day, and it's creating hydrogen peroxide in a vapor form. And, I've been to our manufacturing facility in Johnson City, Tennessee, where we actually manufacture these PCO cells. And it is just unbelievable, the process that they go through. Not only is it time consuming, but it literally is fascinating just to see how many guys they have in there, cutting and dipping the honeycomb into different materials, and then just watching, the difference that it makes when you're using, this state-of-the-art technology.
Yeah, and you're already over my head. I don't know what PCO is. Let's do this. I want to break down the technologies and say, okay, what technologies are in this? What are they called and what do they do? Before we do that, how'd you get into this space? Why are you in the health space?
So I was going to a chiropractor long before I was selling and distributing to chiropractors. And I was actually brought into the industry a long time ago doing something that was non-air purification related. I was doing industrial grade underwater dock lighting systems, and I ended up bumping into the creator of this technology at a trade show down in Miami at the International Boat Show. And I saw the product, loved the product, and I actually decided to get one, and I put it inside of my house. And lo and behold, I was like, this is a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did, I have a newborn child, 2 dogs, and a cat, I noticed not only a reduction in the dust in the house, but like you said, I walked in and I was like, wow, something actually has changed. It smelled crisper, it smelled cooler, and whatever my wife had cooked the day before was no longer lingering in the house. And it was definitely a game changer. So, I called the guy up.
Does she let you use that joke? She knows that it's right.
Yes.
Okay.
If not, yeah, later. We decided, I'm going to call this guy in Miami that I bought this machine from. And I was like, hey, I've been doing these trade shows for a while with these dock lights. I was like, I would love to learn a little bit more about your technology. And he's like, I've got a chiropractic show going on in the West Coast. If you want to, fly out there, I could have one of my guys train you on the technology. And I was like, I think I can already sell this thing. I was like, who doesn't want clean air? You literally EPA warnings all the time, polluted indoor air, 50% of all, United States citizens, have an illness, that's allergy related due to indoor air quality that will require a doctor's attention at one point or another. And, the more and more that we became energy efficient, we started trapping ourselves in. And I saw an opportunity, Mike, that was like, not only do I have a product that can change a life, or the quality of a life, but it's something that people are actually actively looking for. I was selling dock lights that were great, but how many people live on the water? How many people have a dock? So I was.
And are you really changing their lives?
I was changing the amount of fish that they see off their dock. But you're absolutely right. And naturally for me, spending my entire life, from the age of 5 on, seeing a chiropractor, my mother was more of I would say, a homeopath approach to wellness. And, she really liked us to kind of tough it out. And, I don't think I ever took a Tylenol pill growing up. If I had a pain, my mom was like, we're going to go see Dr. David, on State Road 7, go over there and get my adjustment. And, I really did not ever think that I would be an air purifier salesman, let alone the guy who's having conversations with, Dr. Fabrizio Mancini, on the phone with, some of the most respected chiropractors in the space. But it just came out of left field. And, I wish it was a more cool story other than.
Well, actually, it is pretty cool. And I'm going to have to say it kind of mimics mine, meaning, this equipment has different technologies, and it was demonstrated to me at a trade show, and the different technologies were demonstrated in different ways, which we're going to talk about. And it was just like one of those, wow, that is cool. I want that. It was one of those things. It right there and then seeing this demonstration that it works. And I know that you have like a little testing presentations that I could probably link to below this audio file, and we'll talk about that. And anyone that's listening and wants to see what I'm talking about, look for a link below the audio file or on my blog in the resources area that goes to Mike's YouTube channel or whatever you have. We're going to get it on there so people can actually see how this is demonstrated. So it really is a cool story. You saw it, you fell in love with it. I saw it, I fell in love with it. I already, was practicing. I was a chiropractor. I had something keeping me busy. And for you, you said, I actually want to make this my, income source. Well, great.
Yep.
That's why I did chiropractic. It was something that I love doing, and it helps people, and it feeds my family at the same time. It's a win-win situation for everybody. So it is an exciting story.
Absolutely.
What are the different technologies in the unit, and how do you demonstrate them at a trade show?
Okay, so one of my favorite things about the Triad Air V3 is the fact that it does not use any filters that need to be replaced. With any type of air movement, you're going to have some type of suction. So in the back of our machine, we do have a carbon-coated rear static filter. It is washable, and it comes with a lifetime warranty. So that filter does not need to be replaced. So when we tell people we don't use filters, there are no filters, it's your common filter that you think about when you go to Walmart and buy, let's say, a single room unit, and you've got to buy $20, $30 filters a month that need to be replaced. The rear static screen that is in our machine is not for filtering. It is for protecting large particles of hair or leaves from getting sucked into the machine. The four technologies inside of our machine are the PCO, which stands for photocatalytic oxidation. Inside of there is a little UV light that we call active radiant catalysis, which is the ARC technology, but it is encompassed inside of the PCO cell. And then we use a technology that is what I will only describe as a bipolar ionization. It is a stream of millions of negative ions in the front of the machine that is attached to an ion resonator. It is a pulse. It almost looks like a little metal antenna. You remember seeing it when it was at the show. And you'll actually see it in our demonstration box that's on my YouTube page. It's also on thetriadair.com. You can go there and do the view demo. That little pulsed technology is what helps move the negative ions around. And then we have scalable purification. The scalable purification arcs off of that little metal plate that we have inside of there, and we are creating low-level ozone. The low-level ozone is the same exact that you would get off of a lightning bolt when lightning strikes. So when you go into a region after a thunderstorm, you will notice crisp, cool, clean air after a thunderstorm has rolled through. So when lightning strikes, it does two things other than scare the crap out of my cat. It creates ozone, and it creates negative ions. The negative ions themselves, you hit it right on the head earlier when you talked about the dust dropping down to the ground. As negative ions go through your home, they are looking for anything that has a positive charge. So it's just like we were kids. Remember when we played with magnets? Negative and positive, they attract. As those molecules or the dust particles, dander, mold spores, anything floating around inside of your home that has a positive charge, it will drop down to the ground, and then you will mop it, vacuum it, you'll sweep it, but it's no longer accumulating throughout the house. Now, I do have a lot of customers that will call me and they will say, my goodness gracious, Mike, I absolutely love your machine. But when I walked into the house, my wife said that it almost smelled like an Olympic swimming pool. If you have the ozone turned up too high and you exceed the square footage of the room that you put it in, it is all it's doing is producing more activated oxygen that needs to be. If you're not a morgue, or you're not cleaning up a crime scene, or you're not disinfecting an Indian kitchen that was used with a bunch of curry, or if you were at like next door here at our wellness center, right behind us, I have a Jamaican restaurant. They have the best beef stew in all of Palm Beach County. If I don't have my machine cranked high enough and I walk here in the morning, I could smell the beef stew that was cooking all night last night in the crock. So the four major technologies, they've actually been around for a long time. We don't even have patents on our technologies anymore. But what we've noticed is all of the big box stores would rather sell you a less expensive machine with a more expensive filter. So even at like Haley Nutrition, you guys have multiple offices. You've got multiple spaces throughout your corporate office. And even in your house, you've got multiple rooms. You've got your guest room, your bedroom, your spare room, your office at home, your living room, your dining room, and your kitchen. If you walked into the big box stores, they would convince you to buy a purifier for each room. And then, Mike, what are we going to change in those filters every 30 days? Or what are we going to change every 30 days? Is those filters. That adds up and becomes very, very expensive. So we developed these 4 technologies to not only reduce the impact on the environment, but to also reduce the amount of money that families would have to spend purifying the entire home.
You know, when what you're reminding me of as we're having this discussion and the electric charges and the things that are in the air, I do remember years ago when the sunlight would come through the window, you can almost like see stuff in the air. And I don't remember seeing that for a lot of years. And I'm wondering if it's because of having the technology in my home and office.
110%. Let me turn around here. And I'm gonna grab a brochure for you. This is probably one of my favorite brochures that we ever designed. And if you look very closely on the Triad Aer brochure, you can almost see a girl holding up her hand in the ray of light. Are you able to see that clearly on the screen?
I can, and for the people that are only hearing this, they can imagine what you're describing.
It is literally a brunette standing in front of the window with her finger almost pushing through multiple rays of light just encompassed with dust and pollen. And the funny thing is we literally tell our customers, I say, if you are addicted to that, ray of light filled with dust, then don't buy my machine and take it home, because when you plug in our machine, you're not going to see that anymore. I've gone to the trade shows and I've told chiropractors, I go, the crown molding that you have above each entry room where you go in, you've got your PEMF room, you've got your inversion table, you've got your drop table, you've got your chiropractic table that you're doing your adjustments on. Maybe you've got a TENS unit room in the back. Or even in your waiting room, if you've got drywall in your atrium, you've got crown molding. I go, you could literally take a feather duster, wipe the dust off the top of that crown molding, run my machine, and 90 days later you go back, there will not be a particle of dust floating on that, because we're not allowing it to become airborne. And more importantly than the air purifier itself, to me, I think it's just the proper education for people that are out there. You and I just having conversations. So many people out there, they've been turned away from their, I don't want to say the people who care about them, but time and time again, I belong to a lot of allergy forums. I belong to a lot of groups on Facebook, and I have people that say, hey, I went to my doctor and I told him that I've got allergies, or I've got a deviated septum, or, I'm allergic to my dog. And the very first thing is they're getting written a prescription. We're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. We're going to start putting you on, 3 times a day of taking antihistamines. Well, the biggest problem that I've noticed, and I know you, especially with all of your work with aloe, and I know you'll agree with me, us as human beings, our bodies are not synthetic. So we do not react well to prescriptions that are synthetic. And eventually your body is going to start building up, an immunity to these synthetic allergens and anti-allergens and antihistamines and all of these prescriptions. I've noticed that, the darker, brighter green and blues, the worse they are for your body. So, letting people know that, hey, there is another option out there, instead of just going and injecting yourself with all of these synthetic, ingredients, why don't we try taking care of the very root source that's causing these issues to begin with?
Yeah. And it's, what we preach, we want clean air, we want clean water, we want a clean diet, chemical free. We don't want to be breathing this junk in. We don't want to be injecting ourselves because of the symptoms we have. And just like eating food, we don't want to eat bad food and be reliant on the medical profession to try to control our symptoms. There's a better way. And, you cannot get away from it. The dirty air is everywhere. About the only place you can control it is, in your living spaces, your workspaces, your personal spaces. Um, but this world is getting more and more toxic. And they say that now our children are actually going to be outlived by their parents. And that's supposedly the first generation where this is going to happen in a long, long time, because of the toxic assault in food, water, air. It's, and they're getting it from an early age, So anyway,
well, that and the quality, like you were saying, the quality of food, and if you look at you remember back in this, you hear stories about the 50s, 60s, and 70s, of coming home to a home cooked meal, getting local food from the farmer's market.
Oh, yeah.
And those things that are happening, I can't tell you time and time and time again that I hear stories about 96-year-old 96-year-old grandmas who are living up in New York in a retirement home, and they've already buried both of their children. And you've got people that are dying of diabetes. In fact, one of the things, I'm going to walk with you real quick. I wanted to go grab, just so if any of your people who are online, I want to show you guys right where I have the Triad Aer actually running in my office. You can see how small it is. It only is about 16 inches tall, 9.5 inches wide, and about 11 inches deep. Very hard to hear it. Obviously, I'm working in the clinic today. Very, very quiet. Around my neck is the actual Shield Air portable air purification system that we have. And then obviously you guys are going to go for a journey with me here. And I'm going to show you guys here in our office. I've got the small one plugged in here in the bathroom. And we have these. Any of the chiropractic offices, I know you've seen those time and time again.
Yes.
So anybody that's online, you guys, please bear with me. If you guys are just listening online, I showed you guys the little mini that we have that's right there. And it is a game changer, especially if you travel. I have a lot of chiropractic offices that will put those in each individual exam room. There is no need. If you've got the large machine running in your practice or in your home, there is no need for the little small plugins. We do obviously have those to be able to move from room to room or to be able to travel if you're going to a hotel where you don't know what chemicals were used or who was staying in that room the day before you. So it packs a powerful punch. I have a little picture on my little flip book. Dr. Fab Mancini, he's out of Dallas, Texas, and he sent us a picture of when he was packing his suitcase. He put the little mini on the very top of all of his clothes, and he said, it's the last thing that I put in my suitcase, and it's the first thing that I take out. He's like, I literally will walk into the hotel room. He's like, if they bring me in to be the keynote speaker or if they bring me into a seminar, I will plug that little mini in, and he's like, I'll go down and go get ready for my conference or go walk around the venue, wait 30 minutes before I go back into that hotel room. He's like, because I want that hotel room cleaned my way, not the hotel's way.
Yeah, I like the mini, and it doesn't have it has a timer. You can set it for
30 minutes.
And there's a high option
and a low option.
Yeah. I think it's a wonderful little invention. Great to go in the bathroom when you have family members that love eating tacos. It's a little humor. That's the best as it gets. It cleans up the air in the bathroom better than
we hear it time and time again. I got a lot of chiropractors that'll call me and say, hey, we got somebody that was heating up fish, in the break room today, and less than 3 minutes that mini had gotten rid of the odor. It's unbelievable how quick that refresh sanitize mode works. And we don't want the whole place smelling.
Yeah, it essentially creates an ozone that will attach to aromatic compounds, things that are in the air, neutralize them, much the way carbon does in, when you're filtering water. We use carbon filters to filter the water. and it neutralizes the anti-nutrients, the toxins. It changes them, and that's what's happening with the ozone as it's purifying your air, eliminating the aromatic compounds that are in the air, among other things. So I love it.
100%. If any of your listeners, are bored enough and they want to look up Brownian motion, if you look up Brownian motion, there is an entire article that is written about what's happening inside of our chiropractic offices, our clinics, and in our homes. And it talks about the rate of speed that these particles inside of our homes are literally bouncing off of each other, going 1,000 different which ways, faster than the eyes can see. But it talks about how it's constantly moving dust particles and pollen and foreign things that get trapped inside of our home, and why those things stay airborne. And when you understand Browning in motion, you'll understand why it's important to put, the Triad Aer, V3 technology into your office or your clinic. Again, I wanted to thank you for having us on, your Haley Nutrition podcast. And again, just for your listeners or anybody that's watching, if they want to learn more about any of the products, I know you're going to put a plug at the bottom. Also, feel free. We created for all of your listeners, if they want to save 20% and get free shipping anywhere in the continental United States, it's going to be Dr. That'll be Dr. Your last name, Haley, and then the number 20. So Dr. Haley 20, awesome. And they will be able to save 20% off any of our products, whether it's the small plug-in air purifier for travel, the large one for the whole home or the office, or the Shield Air that everybody's been ranting and raving about wearing on the planes, or using it, in confined spaces, or anybody who suffers from outdoor allergens. 28 hours on a single charge, comes with a Type-C charger, comes with the lanyard. A lot of my doctors that are practicing or, obviously doing adjustments, they don't want to have it ripping around and banging. Mm-hmm. So they'll just clip it on the inside of their shirt or their jacket. Okay. And again, that will be all available on the triadaer.com. Or if you want to make it easier to remember, you can use the domain name Bye Filters. So that's like BYE filters.com.
I'm writing these things down. And the Triad Aer, is that spelled TheTriadaAer.com? Not IR. Got it.
Yep.
.com.
Okay, I tell most people always ask me, they go, why did you guys name it AER? And it was a play on words because regular air includes bacteria and viruses. Ours excludes it.
Oh, nice. I like it. That's great. How long can we expect this coupon to be active for our listeners? Through the end of the year?
I can make that coupon code indefinite.
Awesome.
We can do that forever, because no matter what happens, even if the cost of manufacturing, I doubt in this day and age we're ever going to see inflation. I don't think we're ever going to notice inflation happening, especially not in this country. But that 20% coupon code, no matter how much the cost of goods go up, the 20% coupon will stay intact.
That'll work.
What we will do is, if anybody uses it in the next 30 days, anybody that does decide to purchase the large machine, if they do it, obviously today's the 28th, all the way through August 28th, if any of your listeners use your coupon code, I will include one of the $150 minis absolutely free of charge, in addition to the 20%. So for the next 30 days, any of your listeners will give them the plug-in mini absolutely for free with the purchase of the large machine when they use Dr. Haley 20 as a coupon code.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And I have one of those as well, and I absolutely love the mini. So that's a definite blessing for our audience.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Mike, thank you so much. There are other things we could talk about, but I wanted you to describe that little box with the smoke and how it kind of clears the air and everything. But instead, let's just send them. I'll let them know right here and now that there's an awesome demonstration. Go check out the videos and enjoy.
Yeah, and again, remember, Mike, if you send any of your listeners or viewers to the website, there's an actual demo on the homepage, as well as a full demonstration of what we normally do when we're at the trade shows. And that little box is it's right there on video for them to watch. If they go on our homepage, you can also let them watch hundreds of video testimonies that we have from customers over the years that have been using our products. So if they want to hear from customers that have been using our products for 1 month, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years,
Hey,
they're there.
Before you go, share one of your favorite testimonials.
Okay, so let's see. One of my favorite testimonies is from Anna Freeman. She's in North Carolina, right outside of Chapel Hill. I was at the Raleigh Home and Garden remodeling show at the convention center downtown, and I literally had a lady and her husband walk up into my booth, and she had her credit card out, and she goes, "I want to get one." And I was like, "Well, can I teach you how it works?" And she goes, "Sweetheart," she goes, "I've owned these machines since longer than you've been alive." And she pointed to one of the old wooden box ones that we had from back in the 80s. And
that
she
I
goes,
still have.
She goes, "That was the first one that I bought." And she goes, "Let me tell you what," she goes, "I'm one who loves to, cook." And she goes, "But I also love to have the smell of a clean home." And she said to me, and this is why it became my favorite testimony. She said, "Today we're here buying our second machine for our business." And she goes, "Our first machine we've had operating for over 15 years, and it's still working in good condition." And, she said that she suffers from horrible allergies. Her husband suffers from asthma. And in the video, she literally says, "This machine has changed our lives."
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I can completely relate. The little wooden box that looked like a, old speaker, still sitting here in my office, and I probably got it 25 years ago, I'm guessing. So they're absolutely awesome. All right.
It's a testament of time.
Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll have for our listeners, our viewers, I'll have links to the things we talked about in the description below. Look for the resources. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to doing this again.
Yes.